Good morning, this is Michelle Ruggi from ReadyInkGo.com, and today I wanted to show you my measurements for making a theater card. Sorry, didn't get that open very well. A theater card, which is kind of a fun fold and relatively easy to make. You can see it's made with 2 pieces of cardstock for the main part of the card, and then 2 more pieces of cardstock for the folding portion that goes in and out. And I decorated this with the Ornate Garden paper, which is new in the 2021 catalog. I used some retiring things as well, the basket weave embossing folder. The sentiments that I used were from Timeless Tropical, where May Your Birthday Be Memorable, and Let's Celebrate You from the new Celebrate Sunflowers set. I also made the back of the sentiment, I stamped from the Daisy Lane, the small daisy behind the sentiment, and I thought that looked really nice. So this is how we put it together. It's fairly simple. You start with a full sheet of cardstock. You're going to cut that in half lengthwise so that you have 2 pieces that are 4 1/4 by 11 inches. And then you're going to take a thin piece, a 1/4 inch piece, off of one side, and that piece can get removed and saved for another use. You're going to take those narrower pieces and you're going to score them at 2 3/4 and at 1 1/4 from the edge. So basically they're scored in half and then again at 1 1/4, and they're going to be folded like this. And it's a good idea to use your bone folder to get the folds nice and flat. You can move them around a little bit like that. So you're going to have 2 that are exactly the same. This one's also going to be folded. And the way the fold goes into the card is like this, and then you use the pulling mechanism to open it out. So these pieces get attached to one of the large 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch pieces, and they get attached right to the edge. So you're going to take the small flap and put glue on that. I would fold this right in half and then butt it up against the edge of your cardstock. But remember, it's 4 inches. It's 4 inches onto a 4 1/4 inches, so you're going to have a little bit of a margin. And get it nice and even. Then you're going to take the other piece and do the same thing coming from the other direction. And you want to butt them up against one another. And then adhere your piece to the back of the cardstock. So when you get done, you've already got your mechanism made. It's going to open like that. And now we just need to make the front of the card so that you can have something to attach this to. This can be decorated any way you want. For my card, I used 1 piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches paper for the front of the card, 3 pieces of 2 3/4 by 4 paper for the sides and the middle of the card, and 2 pieces of 1 1/4 by 4, and these go on to the little side parts of the theater. And these were all cut from the same paper. I just used the reverse papers. So the front of the card is made from a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece. I've already glued my large piece of decorative paper to the front, and I cut through the papers with the 4th largest stitched rectangle die, which I think measures around 4 by 2 3/4 when it's cut out. This piece you can save for another use. I don't throw too much away, and you end up with this piece. This again can be decorated any way you want. You can see that I put a sentiment. I used the sprig punch, the medium daisy punch. This little center was from the Wild Rose stamp set. I punched that out and used it for my daisy center. So you can decorate it any way you please. But the important part of this is on the back side. And this is where those pieces of white or whatever color you have, I happen to have a scrap that was a 1/2 inch wide, and so that worked out well. So what you want to do is you want to fold one end of that over, and it doesn't matter, you know, you want to get maybe 3/4 of an inch over. Then you're going to take the piece that you've assembled, because you have a 4-inch piece here, and you don't want it super tight against the edge. You want to move that up maybe 1/8 of an inch and then fold that over again. And you'll do that for both pieces. If I can pick it up. Okay, fold one over, put it on, move it up about 1/8 of an inch, and then fold the other side. You don't want them too tight or your mechanism won't slide well. Okay, so for these pieces, as you can see on this piece, and I'll just slide it out so you can see, these pieces get glued very close to the opening of the card, and you want them to be centered into the cardstock. So you put glue on the small tabs. I use Tombow multi-glue. It gives you a little bit of wiggle room, and it dries fairly fast after you get it set. So we're going to line that up with the edge of the opening and put that down there. You can see I've got a margin on either side, and the same will happen for this. Close to the opening. Try to get them about in the same place. Okay. So once these are dry, and it doesn't take too long, as I said, after you've decorated this as you like, you just slide these pieces in And I did round the edges. It makes it a little easier to get them in, but it doesn't have to be rounded. And you do the same with the other side. And as I said, you're going to want to use your bone folder to get that nice and flat. But, oh, and I forgot to remind you to put the little finger holds in there. So before you put it together, clip your finger holds. Anyway, this is the basic mechanism of the theater card. You're going to want to put those finger holds in so people know where to pull, and you end up with the card as I originally put it together. Like that. Thanks for watching. This is Michelle from Ready & Go.